Okay. Okay, guys, did you watch the video?
Yes, teacher. I was watching the video, so that I think the topic is very hard for me.
No, don't say that. Why? This time
Oh,
I'm not gonna put you on the rope. Don't worry about it. It's going to be like a walk on the park.
it's too much numbers and statistics. Oh my goodness,
No,
that is not.
don't worry too much about the numbers. Just about the main idea of the trade war. Okay, the numbers. I'm going to save the numbers for the test. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
I'm going to save those numbers, those trillions of dollars and yuans for the test. Okay.
okay.
Okay, Miss Aurelia, did you watch the video?
Well, actually, sir, I didn't have the link of that. I don't know if yesterday you shared it, but I didn't have the I. Hello.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you better now.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I will charge because I am. Can you let me watch 1 second. Oh yes.
Okay, Aurelia, do you know a bit or some do you know something about this topic about the trade war between China and the USA? Aurelia? Hello?
Hello, sir. Yes, sorry. Yes. Well, I have. Yes, I have there. I have read something about that. Uh, uh,
Okay, I can hear you with a bit of interference. What happened? I heard you better before.
I am so sorry. It's because today is the day of the mother, and I am like in a party with all the family, so they are doing so much noise, and I don't have any part of my house where to be without any noise. So I'm so sorry. I will close my
Okay,
mouth.
don't worry about it. I'm the one to say sorry for schedule this session so awkward with the Mother's Day. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Orlando. I'm sorry, Aurelia. Forgive me.
Don't worry, sir.
Don't worry.
Okay, guys.
Like that I only could be like I don't know, maybe 40 minutes because I have to go. This is the house of my mother-in-law, and we've got to go back to my house. So I think that maybe I will be like 40 minutes, and next I have to go. So I will attend those minutes with you.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I was thinking the same about doing this quiz because I know that you want to be with your family, same as Orlando. Okay, so Orlando, please, can you give us an introduction about this topic, please, so Miss Aurelia can be more, can have a bit more knowledge about it.
Okay, teacher. Well, but well, today is a very difficult topic. So, well,
Orlando, I can hear you. Orlando. Orlando, you there? I can hear you.
hi, teacher.
Okay, I got you. Okay,
Hi, teacher. Sorry.
okay, I can hear you now.
Uh,
Orlando?
Yes, yes, teacher. Sorry, I had some troubles with my Skype. I don't know. Maybe there's is I don't know if the internet connection, but well. So well about the topic about the trade war between China and USA. So well, also we can know is in the trade war, so that exit in both countries in China and USA is because they want to reduce the impact that the economy has in each country. So both China and USA wants to have the control or the economic control around the world. So, but they want to maybe make an environment where they can increase the production or the internal production in each country. They both want to support. Maybe they want to encourage all the company, the enterprises. So in each country, in order to get a best production. But what happened in this trade war? So happened that maybe the political decision that they make, they are making. So maybe they can influence in a good way or in a bad way. So it depends how the reaction of the other country. So in fact, that has another a negative result. So when maybe the politicals or the political decisions that they make, so affect other countries, and it's possible that in many of those decisions, so could be a boycott. So in the case of USA, maybe they can have a boycott with Canada or Mexico. So in the side of China, maybe they can a boycott with India or Russia. So that effect that they can get with that trade war, so could have a different result. So it depends the decision of that made the other side. For example, USA have getting some um, that mean aranceles. I forget. Let me.
I think that they call it tariffs.
Yes. Um, yes. Is well. I have here
Yes,
duty.
it's tariffs.
Yes. And many of those datis, maybe datis, the aranceles that I have here. Yes, or maybe services that they are increasing. So maybe that can affect in a positive way at another country. So because many of those duties that USA have to impose to China, so the reaction of China had made that the USA change the decision. So maybe it's something like a game that is in a return game. I don't know. So I mean, so is
Yes, it's
a
like a
government
push and
says
pull
something.
game.
Yes, that function like oppression, but not really working. So in order that maybe the other country has something under his hand, and maybe they say, okay, we are going to accept that duties, but we are going to increase these other duties to the products or the imports that are in that country, or maybe that sports in that country. So for
It's
I
like an economical cold war.
yes, for example, in the airplane industry, so maybe Airbus or the word between Airbus or another word, maybe the contrast between Airbus or Boeing, that is the biggest and enterprise in the USA in the airplanes. So they can be affected because China exports. all the materials that they need to use. And in fact, many of those materials, many of those products that China produce, so in whole the USA industry are produced by China industry. So I don't know. Maybe they want, or both China and USA, they want maybe have a control in those economics. So I mean, so maybe they want have the attention of the world. So between the two potential around the world. So in the economical potential that are those are USA and China.
Okay, Orlando, thank you very much for that introduction about this topic. So earlier, did you understand what Orlando said about the trade war between USA and China? Orlando?
Yes, teacher, it was a good resume about that topic. I think that it is a situation that can affect us here in Colombia and all South America, because we are depending of so much products of China and also United States, no. So maybe it could affect us a lot. And I don't know, maybe it could be also the beginning of maybe worse problems, like, I don't know, maybe a war or something like that, no? Because maybe they are beginning with only the economic part, and next maybe the tension can augment, and next maybe it could be like worse. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Okay, Orlando, what do you think about the statement that Aurelia gave us?
Well, I don't know how can affect, but I was thinking about how can affect Colombia. So in a trade war, well, that the trade war that is coming between China and USA. So the intention in both countries is have to control the economic control in all the region and around the world. But what happened in the world, south developed countries like Colombia? So it's a crazy, or it's a growing industry, or it's a growing economy in the region, because in this region in South America, so the bigger economy is Brazil. Um, and maybe that word can affect Brazil, but not Colombia, because the interaction that Colombia has with USA is more direct than maybe the trade with China. So some products or some imports are made by Colombia, but not in the trade war that have between USA and China. I mean, iron and aluminum so are the maybe the most important thing that they are trying to have the control, because the iron of the wheels and the aluminum are necessary for each for any countries. For any country is too much necessary uh, those elements, because that can increase the economy, the interference in any economy or in any part of the economy inside the country. So, like USA said, so that the economy, or the part of the economy they want to defend is exactly that part, the defensive part. So and why? Because all the political in the Trump government is making around the production of wheels and aluminum, right? So because with those elements they can produce I don't know weapons or maybe um, some products like cars, chips, airplanes, and in technology as well. So it's too much necessary. In fact, in the space race as well. So it's too much important for the production, and maybe that not affect to Colombia, in order that Colombia has another trade, but and that trade with all countries are much stronger, and I believe Colombia has a lot of resources, um, but I think maybe that kind of will not affect in the economy directly. Maybe in the oil economy, or maybe the its exit oil war. So maybe that could affect Colombia, but not in the other way.
So, Orlando, do you think that right now, as the war between China and USA is going, right now they wouldn't affect Colombia in maybe in a direct way, in a front way or something?
No, no effects. No effects.
So, what about with the between the when the yuan falls and the dollar rises, this kind of dynamic of those currencies? Don't you think that maybe that will affect Colombia a little bit of maybe with the prices or the prices of the imports that we get?
Um, well, so maybe all of those are balanced because well, many imports that Colombia received, Colombia export as well some products like oil, like coffee, like flowers as well, and some other products that in the minimum. But maybe that's done affect because the sport that Colombia have are in a good price. I mean, the price of the coffee is very good. So maybe is the highest in that I can remember. So and Colombia has a political, an internal political that support and protect the production of coffee. In the flower sector, well, I think that that doesn't affect. So in the oil production, it's not affecting really. So I think that it really don't affect. So
So, for example, in the manufacturing or production of some products that we import from United States, a lot of them are assembled or built in China. What do you think about this? Do you think maybe by the side it can, in some way, in the long run, can affect our economy or the imports that we get?
no, really, because well, products like a cloth doesn't have the same duties like actually like it currently happening with the wheels and aluminum. So in fact, all many products or many sources that the Colombia companies use are from China. So that reduce the cost because the cost of that sources in China are less than in Colombia. Maybe there are less that you can get from USA, and that is very good to the Colombia production. So and that no affect really.
So in in the other hand, do you think that it will benefit us, that the trade war between them?
Oh well, um, maybe. what could be affect? Maybe the political decision that USA made around around the region. So I mean, in America. So because is USA put more duties to China with all the products, maybe that could be effect, but we don't know currently what could be the effect because China has more strategies, so maybe to reduce the impact. Because we have to remember that China has a good economic control around the world, and that's no effect. So in fact, many of the duties that USA had put to China, so that no affect all the production to China. So in fact, um, that increase the production of China.
Okay. Miss Aurelia, what do you think about Orlando's statement? Do you also think that the trade war between those two countries won't affect us in any way?
Well, yes. Well, I personally think that yes. Well, I don't know a lot of how does work the the commerce in this case, but I suppose that China, well, I suppose that the products that Colombia bought to China, I don't know if they come directly to China, Colombia, or if they want China, USA, Colombia. If in that case, well, I think that they will be a lot of products that will cost most, and they will be more expensive, like all the little things that are costing like 1,000 pesos, 2,000, or all those stuff like the shoes, the clothes. There are a lot of stuff for the material for doing the clothes, no? Because here in Colombia there are a lot of industries that makes clothes, no? Not like like in Ecuador, for example. In Ecuador, there are no industry of clothes. They only buy clothes from China. So, for example, could be that, no, maybe in Colombia it will not affect a lot, but I think that in other country, for example, in Ecuador, it will affect them in all in very in much cases. And also, for example, I don't know if, for example, they are going to they are doing it, because it's already done. If they are like increasing the prices of each product, uh, I think that when they will have to make their own product more expensive. Also, for example, for example, I was reading that China makes like any I don't know how to say that in impuestos, about
Taxes,
increasing the prices of the soja. Uh,
taxes,
yes, and we have done that with the soja. That is one of the principal exportation
Import.
of import export of of um, of biosas. So if they don't have that entered of that economical source, they will have to make other things to have more money, and that will affect us, because we will have to buy the things that we bought to them, because we bought so much things from to USA. I mean, so much things. I think that maybe, if there will be a third war, we will not be able to have our one food, because we only cultivate here sugar. Well, we have like banana, sugar, cacao, coffee, but we don't have a lot of meat. Well, I think that, well, we do that, and there are a lot of farmers that cultivate those kind of food, but it's not enough for all the population. So we bought so much things to USA, and I think that if they are doing that, they will increase their prices, in order to have the enough money not to do that they think and to can conserve the level the level of life. So I think that yes, it's affect us. It will affect us. Maybe not yet, but slowly by slowly, we will have like more, more, yes, more consequences. And also, like you
In
said
the long
before,
run,
maybe
by a
the
bit.
prices, maybe it's the prices of of their money, for example, the dollar also will increase in one moment. Maybe not yet because it's like recent, you know. It was like in March 2018. I am I am right. So maybe it is very like too too recently, and maybe we will see the consequences more later. I don't know. What do you think, Victor? Give us your opinion.
So, but Aurelia, sorry, but it's very close, like you say. So I don't know if you remembered in 2003 in the economic recession. So what was happening in that moment? So the economic recession affected all the countries around the world, and why happened that? Because many, oh, many of the countries don't didn't have economical strategies on how they can maybe face the effect that the economic recession had around the world. So after that, all the countries around the world so made a political decision in order to make our trades with each region or with different countries in order to get a best economical environment in all the region. And how working that? So, for example, we know that Colombia had a lot of trade with other countries, with USA, and with China, with Canada, with Mexico, with Chile, with Brazil, so with Peru. So we have a lot trades, and how working that specifically. So imagine that is maybe the trade war between China and USA affect some part of the product. I'm gonna put an example, the cloth, but maybe in the cloth that could be affect Colombia, but doesn't affect Mexico. So we had a trade with Mexico, and we can exchange so clothes, and we can maybe make a better business in with that product, and that doesn't affect the production and maybe the economical environment in into the country. I mean, in Colombia.
but but I think that, hey, for example, Mexico can help us, yes, in order to give us the enough losses, for example, that we need to, but it will never be at the same cost that China is going to give to us, no? So I don't.
Well, so we have I'm gonna put some other example. So we have the trade with Ecuador, and we have the trade with Peru, and in the potato with potatoes. And what happened? We buy potatoes from Ecuador and from Peru and from UK as well. And why? Because the price in that country is cheaper than in Colombia. And why? So maybe because the import of many products in the production of the potato are very expensive, but in that countries it's very cheaper. So the prices of the potato is cheaper than in Colombia, and that may be a way and a strategy to maybe make a balance between the prices in the internal cost in the country, and that increase the economical activation into the country, because the prices are all the time in the same price, that not increase it. Maybe can increase, but not but an trade war, but maybe. by the weather, or maybe by some effects of the weather. So that can, or well, maybe that are other things, but that is not for the trade war.
Yes,
Okay, guys.
yes, it could be. I don't know. It's something. Maybe you're true. Yes. Maybe I think that it could be. Yes.
Okay, guys. Here's a question. Recently, United States increased the tariffs for the imports of China that comes from China from 10 to 25%. Do you think that China will continue to export the same amount of products to the United States, or they as a country will focus on some other markets like Latin American or European markets?
Uh,
Um. Well.
well,
Yes, I think that maybe they can. Well, they can continue like sending them like the products. They that don't have many taxes, but of course that their sales over there is going to falling down. And yes, and maybe also USA is going to find someone else, another country that can send to him those kind of projects, or maybe they can do it also by themselves, and in order to earn money and to and yes, and to do their thing. Also, maybe I'm talking about China. Yes, maybe they will find another kind of market, other countries. Um, in Europe, I see it like a little complicated because I remember that when I was over there, they so much control of all the projects that enter over in the country. For example, I'm talking about the toys or the clothes. In France, they are so much control about the quality. Yes, the material that they have done, because there are some materials, some chemicals that can affect your health, your health. So. Maybe in Europe it can be difficult because they have also another mental men, men, yes, kind of thinking, because they are like right now they are more like trying to do ecological things, and more, yes, they are like searching about new resources, new kind of energies. So I don't know, maybe it will be more difficult, but maybe, for example, here in South America, it will be the perfect market for them, because we don't have a lot of things. Also, we for example, our sorry, our own uh,
Orlando, give us your opinion about the question I gave you, please.
yeah, I don't know. Is Aurelia? Do you finish? So sorry, because I don't know if it's the connection.
Yeah, it's a bit with interference.
Yes,
Or
right.
else, did you finish your idea, or do you want to continue, please? She's gone.
I,
We lost her.
I don't know. Maybe it's by the interference.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because I think that she's in a party with all the family, and she with her cell phone running around and speaking in English. It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, what I think about that, so teacher, so maybe I guess
Uh,
that
she fall.
Yes, so that the trade war between China and USA is going to continue or you're going to stop. It depends the reaction that's going to happen. I want to put another example, and it's about the aluminum or the wheels. So what happens if USA continues put some duties to that product? So well. So China has to increase the prices of that product that many companies in USA need, and that affect all that enterprises or all of those companies in the way that they have to reduce the cost of the production. And how they can reduce the cost of the production? Well, many people is going to be disappointed, and that is an effect because nowadays USA has the highest level of employees that ever has in that country. But what happened is well, that the employed in USA is less than the 4% and 3%. So but what happened? A state like Wisconsin has a lot of employed, but there is no employers. And that how the Fed will. So a Fed, in order that the political immigration have affect that part because well, Wisconsin need more employers, but they don't have that employer that maybe could be export from other countries, maybe Latin countries, and where they can and maybe work in that jobs. So is that political immigration affect as well all the economy in the country. So and made the result that they want to increase the consumption of the many products in the internal products that are producing in the same country. So maybe that could have a negative effect so in that sense. So for that reason, it depends. It depends the political decision that each country, USA or China, made in order to get a best result. So something is real, like USA said. That is about the China, and China is not a good player. So I mean, so many of the political decisions that the China has made, so that affect the investments in China. I mean, so in the economical laws that China have. So in one of them say that there is any external or maybe abroad invest that that can invest in the country have to contract a local company by use the technological um, products or something or system is something that has over there. So for example, if a car company wants to introduce in China, they have to employ a local company where they can or they where that company, that local company have have the permission by the government to use the technological system. And what happened? Well, so many of the local companies in China are increasing, right? Because they are going to be more competitive into the world, and they are increasing. And but the car company just is working. Maybe it's something like a remora. I don't know. Did you know that animal in the sea, under the sea? And
Yes, it's like some kind of parasite for the
yes, yes,
sharks.
yes, right, right. It's something like that. So and maybe that is about play in that sense, right? But all it depends. So that the decision or the political decision that each country made.
Okay, Miss Aurelia, are you there?
Yes, yes, it's your name here. I'm listening to, or not
Okay,
listening
okay,
to the moment.
okay. Did you finish your idea before, or do you want to continue where you left, or
No, it was okay. I was finishing the idea, and now things like right now that I was saying it's very similar.
okay? Okay, guys. So right now, what's happening with Trump's declarations that one day he's happy, the other day he's bad. One day he wants the wall, the other day he don't want to build it. And he's like a roller coaster. He's full of emotions and of things. I don't know what inside the headman, but in the end he's doing a good job with a good work with the United States because the numbers of unemployed are getting low. The right now United States is on one of their best economical situations. So everyone were thinking about the man that he was going to destroy United States or the whole world, but he's doing a good work. In the end, he is a businessman. He's a businessman. He's a millionaire. He have an empire, and he has his reasons. So with the last declaration of or increasing the tariffs, okay, we saw that maybe what is going to happen with China and the exports from the country. Uh, so let's try to understand the other hand of the situation of the other possible circumstance. What do you think if maybe the other countries following the politics from the United States decide to raise their tariffs from the products that comes from China? Is it that possible? How thinking about that we live in a globalized world right now. How will that affect the economical environment?
Oh, well, what I think usual, well, China nowadays is the biggest product of technological products. So that could be impact in the prices of the technological products. So any country, any company around the world use a China product to create or maybe to develop more technological product. For 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 example, Apple wants to build a new computer, but many of the technological advices that Apple use are from China, and we know that that is a reality. So it's maybe the trade war continue that could affect in the technological sense.
Okay, only that way, but because remember that China also exports some rare minerals and stones. I don't remember well the names right now, but they export some very rare metals and minerals that I think that they use them for military purpose.
Okay. uh, those are neodymium, lanthanum, and
Yeah, that's
aluminium.
right. The
Yeah,
the
right. So the neodymium is used for magnets in loudspeaker and hard disks, and that affect Apple, for example, or Google, or maybe HP, Asus, another brands. produce. Lanthanum is used for cameras and telescope lenses and lighting application. So that is not good for NASA, right? So gadolinium is used for MRI. I don't know what's that, and X-ray scanning. So I know what is that. Also in television screens. So well, they have the controllers. All of are from technological advices. So
Yeah, not
in
only
fact,
in cell
China,
phones or laptops, we are all screwed.
yes, and China holds 80% of the market. So imagine, oh
That's
my
a lot.
goodness.
Without China, we're so screwed because think about, for example, the how do I say it? The
Um,
medical devices.
Teacher
The
and
medical
partner.
devices. Yes, Miss Aurelia? Say?
Yes, I'm so sorry, teacher and partner Orlando, but I have to go. We are going to go out of this house, so I don't have more internet. So I think that for today will be
Yes, don't
the
worry.
the whole. Okay, I'm so sorry. Um,
Don't worry about it. Thank you very much for being this time with us, okay? Don't worry about
and
it. Go and celebrate, party, drink, and all.
we are going to see us on Wednesday. You know, it was on 15th.
Yes, we had an extra session on this week on Wednesday 15. Can you be with us?
Yes. I could be. Yes, I could be. I could be there.
Okay, that's perfect. That day I'm going to make the test, the a little quiz about this topic. Okay, so please check the video I sent to the Skype group and see you on Sunday on Wednesday. I say. Okay.
Wednesday. Okay. Okay, teacher. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, and sorry. Okay. Goodbye. Have
Don't
a
worry.
nice
Have fun. Bye.
night. Bye.
Okay, Orlando, like I was saying, consider that nowadays all the medical devices have a processor or have some kind of hardware that that comes from China. Maybe the screen, the processor, all those kind of things. So it will affect not only the entertainment environment like the cell phones or laptops or something. It will affect more than that, don't you think?
Well, maybe that cat could be affected, and not really. And why say that can really affect? Because similar like the political immigration affect maybe the production in a country. So many of the world politicians, or maybe well, and the world laws, maybe the and the human rights, so maybe that can stop the effect that can produce by the trade war between China and USA, and maybe the production of any other products for the health. So I don't believe that that could happen. So it's always exit different options. So for that reason, exists a lot of trades between different countries in order to reduce the effect that and future on a possible economical war can happen into the region all around the world. So I think that all the countries are prepared for facing all of those situation on all of those environments, and where maybe the product the well the advices that the health devices or the medical devices can reduce it um, by that situation. So I, I am optimist in that part, because I think that the
Yeah,
country.
yeah, I know. You are very optimist. You are the man. You are rainbows and unicorns. I know. I know. I know you're very optimistic. You don't have to remember that, to remind me that. Don't worry about it. I know that you're the very, very optimistic man.
Yes, I think, teacher, that we cannot think all the time that, we are going to be affected because the dollar rise, or the dollar start to increase it, or the dollar reduce the prices. No, or the oil is going to reduce. No, maybe we need to think in a different way in order to get better results. So because it how we can and think is how we can do. So all is in your mind. So I think I mean, so that the effect that something can affect, it depends in the how you can get options, or maybe you can get a better solution. It maybe that is not bad, maybe that is something good, because is in the 2003, and it is in that time didn't happen, the economical recession. Maybe any country did the political, or the political decision, or maybe they didn't make another, or look for another option, or trades where they can reduce the impact or the effect that the economical recession can affect into the country or into the region. So this is not a negative thing. I think it's a positive thing in order to get a better solution, and maybe build a trace between the region. Maybe that is that join the region, or many countries in the region, because it does that didn't happen. Maybe Colombia never did, never have a trade with Chile or Mexico, or Brazil, in order to save the economical environment into the region. And that is something good.
Okay, very well. Orlando, give me 1 minute. I have one more question for you, okay? Be right back.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Okay, Orlando, I'm back. I'm sorry. Orlando.
Sorry, I turned my microphone off.
Okay, one last question, Orlando. How do you think this is going to end? Maybe with United States going over China, and and increasing more the tariffs, or maybe with a trade between them, or how do you think this is going to evolve around in the economical way?
Well, I think that each country has external political or abroad political in order to get the best for the population into the country. So, and this is going to get Donald Trump. So, because the president has the same political that he had in the previous election. So uh, so that is some political look for are looking for a best economical environment into the country for the industry, for the companies, for the people, in order to increase the well, in Colombia is BIP, in but in USA I can't remember what is the name? Is the gross domestic product? Maybe that's it the name, or the word of goods. Maybe that could be the name. So,
Yeah,
but what is
domestic goods.
domestic good, right? So, and then the idea is that they can get the best environment in the country, and he is going to get that. So maybe this trade war in between China and USA is an strategy, is a broad strategy, to maybe it's an economical strategy. Like you said, Trump is a business, so he know what he is doing, and maybe in many decisions he can fail, and in other maybe he can be success, but all it depends how the economics with all around the world change. So I mean, so exit a lot of or other countries, so that maybe they are in focus in the trade war between China and USA. I mean, India, Iran, or Russia, or maybe other countries, or other regions like European Union. So they are looking for what is going to happen and how they are going to end, but they are following all the decision that they make in order to improve the political or the external political that they have into the country, in order to guard all the goods that they have or the invest that they have in that country, because so USA and China have invested in all other countries in order to save that invest, in order to save the goods that they have into the country. And I think this going to this situation is going to continue. So because that is good for all the world, that is good for all each region. So because they are making maybe could be sounds like a storm, so but that is necessary for all the world, so in order to get a better decision. So imagine an economical environment where nothing happens. So maybe any country is going to have a prevention, so a caution. So in order to maybe something is going to happen, maybe the prices on the oil is going to low, or maybe the taxes in X product is going to increase. So that is health for all the regions. That is health for of healthy for all the world. So because the government, so the governance in each country can create or maybe make decision, they make political decision that benefits for all the population in each country or in each region.
Yes, right now the situation in the world is like a Mexican novel. The problem with Venezuela, China, and United States, Russia, maybe will be by one side. This is going crazy. This is going crazy. The world right now and the economical environment right now, there are a lot of colors, a lot of positions and situations going right now.
Well,
So
but nowadays we know how the economical environment around the world is working. So by the technology, I mean, so internet
yeah,
is
it's not like the Cold War that no one's knew nothing about anything.
yes,
Okay? If the government say, okay, this is red, everyone say, okay, red. But no, no, thanks to the social networks and everything and the internet,
right,
you can give your honest opinion, and everything is transparent to everyone.
right. I agree.
Okay, Mr. Orlando, I think your wife is calling you. She needs you. Who is your wife? Who is your baby? Say hi, Happy Mother's Day to her from me, please.
Ah, yes, they are pretty good. Thank you so much for asking.
Okay. Lando, thank you very much. So remember that we will have an extra session on Wednesday 15.
Yes.
So that day we're going to make the quiz using Kahoot, okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher. So something I want to say. So maybe
Yes.
for the next Wednesday, the extra session, I'm going to be late. Maybe 6:30.
6:30. Okay, don't worry
Yes.
about it. Don't worry about
Okay.
it.
Okay. Thank you so much, teacher.
What about it? So the quiz will be maybe 40, 50 minutes only. It will be short, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
We
Thank
can
you
wait
so
for
much.
you.
Thank you so much, teacher.
Okay, Orlando, have a good night, sleep well, rest, and have a great week. See ya.
Thank you so much, teacher. Me too. Have a good weekend.
Okay,
Have
thanks.
a good
Bye.
week. Enjoy with your
Week,
family.
the weekend is finished. The weekend, don't remember that.
Well, enjoy the race of the night.
Okay, thank you very much, Orlando. Bye bye.
Bye bye, teacher.